One fateful evening something changed. A well-dressed man in his mid-40s hopped into his cab, clearly in a hurry. He was tense, checking his watch every few seconds. As they drove through the bustling streets of the city, the man started to talk to Thomas. "Life's been tough lately," the man said, his voice cracking slightly. "Business is down, the bills are piling up, and I don't know how much longer I can keep this up." Thomas listened intently, but he didn't offer any advice. He had no credentials, no great wisdom to share. But he understood the pain in the man's voice. He'd been there. As they neared the destination, the man glanced at him and said, "Thanks for the ride. You know, you've got the patience of a saint, my friend." Thomas smiled but didn't say much. He had a quiet way of connecting with people, even when he didn't have the words. The man paid the fare and stepped out of the cab, but before he closed the door, he turned around one last time. "You know what?" the man said. "I don't know if I can solve all my problems, but you've made me realize that it's the little things that count. You've inspired me today." That moment stuck with Thomas. He thought about it long after the man left. What did it really mean to inspire someone? What could he do to make a bigger impact? As days passed, Thomas started noticing the little things. A smile, a kind word, a helping hand. He realized that even though he didn't have money or fame, he had the ability to make someone's day better just by being kind and showing empathy. Soon his passengers started talking. They would tell each other about the taxi driver with the warm smile who never rushed, who always listened, who always made them feel like they mattered. Word spread quickly, and before long, people were deliberately choosing Thomas's cab. He became known as the heart of the city, the taxi driver who didn't just drive people around, he drove them to a better version of themselves. But it wasn't just about being kind. It was about doing something bigger. One rainy afternoon, he picked up a young woman named Sarah, who had just lost her job. She was down, barely able to hold back tears. As they drove, she opened up to Thomas about her struggles, her fear of being alone, and her frustration with life. "Everyone has given up on me," she whispered. Thomas pulled the cab over and looked at her with sincerity. "Sarah, don't give up on yourself. You may feel like the world is against you, but you have a chance to turn things around. Sometimes the road you're on takes you down unexpected paths. You have to keep driving." That simple conversation gave Sarah the strength to apply for a new job that very same day. She got it. And just like that, Thomas had impacted another life. Slowly, he began organizing small community events, gathering people to help clean up local parks, donate clothes, and support homeless shelters. He didn't have much to give, but he gave everything he could. Thomas didn't know it at the time, but he was becoming something extraordinary. A symbol of hope. People started sharing his story, and soon, the local news caught wind of the humble taxi driver who had inspired a city. One of his passengers, who worked as a reporter, wrote an article titled "The Taxi Driver Who Inspired a City." It went viral. As the article spread across the internet, people from all walks of life came to meet Thomas. They shared their struggles, their victories, and their dreams. They saw him as a beacon of light in a world that often seemed dark. Thomas was invited to speak at schools, businesses, and even local events. His message was simple but profound. Kindness, empathy, and resilience could transform a life, and together, a community could lift itself out of any hardship. But even as his fame grew, Thomas never lost sight of his roots. He still drove his taxi every day, never forgetting where he came from or the people who helped him along the way. And as the years went by, he became more than a taxi driver. He became a hero. A hero who proved that you didn't need wealth, power, or status to change the world. You just needed a kind heart and a willingness to care.